Yo, what's up guys? Ryan Magin here, and today we'll be talking to you guys about the best GoPro settings for Instagram videos. So if that interests you, let's get right into it. Okay, so before I get into the actual meat of this tutorial, you got to make sure you actually have the right equipment for the job. And instead of relying on the GoPro frame that comes with your camera, I'm going to urge you guys, if you're filming and you're doing things specifically for Instagram, to get yourself a vertical frame. This one here is from GoPro. It's like 25 bucks. I'll go ahead and link it below. But this will make sure that you're actually filming in vertical, aka portrait mode, so you're going to get the best optimal filming for Instagram. Okay, so first thing you need to know is actually where is this going to go, because there is a size difference between the footage between your Instagram feed and Instagram story and IGTV. So knowing up front where this footage is going to go, that we can assure you're filming for the optimal setting. If you're filming for Instagram feed, the optimal ratio for videos is 4:5, which is 1080 by 1320. That will ensure you take up the most amount of space on the Instagram feed. And if you're going for stories or IGTV, they are the same, and that is 9:16. That's a little longer, same width, and this is 1080 by 1920 as far as the settings go for your editors and whatever you're using. But this will ensure that you get the optimal amount of space, so you take up the most landscape or the most room on the Instagram feed. First thing we need to know is actually whether or not you're going to be shooting in 2.7K or 4K. Now, I'm going to urge you to shoot in 2.7K unless you are a professional video editor and you have the equipment to be able to process 4K files. They are very big, they will slow your computer down, and they are very hard to edit for the average person. I don't say that to deter you, I'm just saying that stick with 2.7K so you can actually edit the footage that you're going to be shooting. So now that we know 2.7K or 4K, let's talk about the modes in which you can shoot in. Now there's three. There's super view, linear, and wide. Okay, I personally don't like super view. I think it's too fisheyed, it's too wide. A lot of people do make some pretty cool stuff with the super view, but myself personally, and if you're trying to film stuff specifically for Instagram in the portrait vertical mode, I just think it's too much. So I like to stick to 2.7K wide. That, in my opinion, is the best setting, whether or not you're filming in a POV where you're holding the camera in your mouth, on your chest, on your head, or if you're just filming what you're doing and you're pointing it at something. I believe it gets a really wide shot, and I think it looks the best, in my opinion, for Instagram. Now, there is linear mode if you don't like a fisheye and you want to shoot more in a flat profile. This is good if you're vlogging and talking to the camera. This is good if you're just kind of showing what you're going to be doing, but this is totally up to you. I urge you to experiment, but personally with POV footage, I love the 2.7K wide, and if I'm taking selfies, I love the 2.7K wide because it gets your whole body, your whole outfit. Linear crops it in a little bit, and it just doesn't get as much, but it kills the fisheye. So again, experiment what you like, get out there and practice, but in my opinion, 2.7K wide is a good all-around place to start for your Instagram. Okay, so the next thing we need to talk about is frame rate. So now that you know 2.7K or 4K, linear, wide, super view, you can make your decisions on what you want to do there. Let's talk about frame rate. So you have 24, 30, 60, 120, and 240. 120 and 240 are kind of reserved for slow motion. I'm not going to be touching on slow motion in this video. I'll be making another video later for slow-mo. But if you're just trying to film good videos for your Instagram and to do it at a quick and rapid pace, stick with 60 frames per second, because if you have to slow it down, you can. In my opinion, it's the easiest to work with, and it gives you some flexibility in what you're going to do. I know I probably just pissed off a lot of cinematographers and filmmakers, but I've produced hundreds of videos for my Instagram, and 60 frames per second has never let me down. All right, one thing I want to touch on is actually whether or not you should use the setting Pro Tune, which is actually, in my opinion, more suited to the experienced videographer or someone who really knows what they're doing. If you're just starting out and you're just trying to quickly produce and take your GoPro footage from your camera onto your computer and then put it onto Instagram, I recommend you just use the GoPro's auto settings. It's really good for the colors. It's always on point. The autofocus is perfect. Everything about it is just set to where you can quickly make the best looking footage possible. If you are a more experienced videographer or somebody that knows what they're doing, then I recommend you going into the raw version and start utilizing Pro Tunes, because you need a higher caliber editing software to really mess with that in post-production. So my recommendation is stick with GoPro auto setting, just so you can always ensure that you're getting the best footage and will look great on your Instagram. Now we're going to talk about editing settings. First thing you have is your Instagram feed videos. Like again, I said at the beginning of this is a 4:5 ratio or 1080 by 1320. ensure that you get those settings properly. I personally don't like square videos, and Instagram wants you to utilize the bigger setting, as well as you take up more room on the feed, so more people are going to be able to see and stop and watch your video. So if you're editing a video for Instagram feed, it is the 4:5 ratio or 1080 by 1320. On the flip side, we have Instagram stories. Like I said in the beginning, this is a full portrait mode setting, which is 9:16, which is 1080 wide by 1920 tall. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and show you the export settings that I use, but this is what I do every time I export a video for Instagram. So let's go to my computer and I'll show you what I do. All right, guys, Ryan here. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys exactly what it looks like before I export the video. When I take it from my GoPro camera, and I'm going to export it and edit a little bit for Instagram. So the editing software I use is actually called ScreenFlow. It's a $129 purchase. It's for Mac users only. If you want something similar for PC, Camtasia, it is a little bit more expensive, but Camtasia is what it's called. I think if you're just trying to rapidly produce content for Instagram and things of that nature, ScreenFlow and Camtasia are perfect places to start to kind of get your feet wet in the editing process without committing to like a monthly fee, like Adobe Creative Cloud or anything of that nature. So with that said, like we were talking about before, knowing your width and height when you start. So let's say I want to make a video for the Instagram feed. Width is 1080 and height is 1320. Now, I know some people do 1350, 1320. I've never had a problem. I've done the same thing. And it just always seems to work. So timeline frame rate, we can do 24 frames per second. That's pretty standard. You could do 60 if you want, if you're going to start slowing stuff down, but keep it at 24. Usually it's just kind of already preset for you. I'm going to go ahead and do this. Now, this would be for Instagram feeds, and I'm going to drag in a clip here. This is just one of the quick clips I did. I'm going to drag it into my timeline. I'm going to, extend it out so it fills. Now, remember, this is for the Instagram feed, so this is 4:5 ratio. This is the biggest aspect ratio you can have for the feed, and the one that I recommend. So let's say I wanted to keep this as what I wanted for Instagram. You can cut the clip a little bit, split the clip, move it over. And let's say that I want this as my clip. That's gonna go on my Instagram. Obviously this is not real life. I would not put this clip on my Instagram, but so we like it. I'm gonna go to File. I'm gonna go to Export. I'm gonna name it Test IG Feed. I like to go into the manual settings. Now this is going to be different on all editing softwares, but the numbers and everything are going to stay the same. So I'm going to see there is actually a preset for iPhone X, optimize Instagram. Most everything already has it. You can just do that, but I like to make the bit rate a little bit higher. I feel like it makes it crisper. So I'm going to do frame rate, 30 frames per second. The data rate, I've experimented with a lot of these, but the best quality I've seen comes from 18,000. I don't actually know the specifics of this, so I'm not going to pretend that I do, but 18,000 just makes really crisp and sharp videos. If you're using different audio settings, you can do mono or stereo, but we're going to keep this the way it is. Hit OK. We don't want letterbox content, and the resolution to be 1080 by 1350, and then we would just export. This would go straight to my desktop, ready to airdrop to my phone to put on Instagram. Now, if I wanted to do this for Instagram, ScreenFlow has a quick set for Instagram stories, which is the full portrait mode. I can just click this button right here. I can change the height. So remember, it's width 1080 by 1920. And see the preset iOS capture iPhone 7 Plus portrait. So they're already in there preset wise anyways. And now we have the full version for full portrait for stories or IGTV. And then the same thing, File, Export, I would name it, do the manual, 18,000, uncheck letterbox, resolution, full 1080 by 1920. Just so you guys know, we'll go to customize, 18,000, boom, undo letterbox, and then hit export, and this is ready to go. So that's how I export all of my videos from the GoPro to my computer, and then putting it on to ready to send to my phone. I hope that was helpful. Let's go back to my head and me talking. And lastly, I wanted to give you guys like couple really good tips that I wish somebody would have told me when I started filming with my camera. And number one is always make sure the lens is wiped clean. Get in the habit of when you take out your camera, to wipe the lens clean, and before you go into any situation where you're about to start filming or take pictures, wipe the lens clean. If you're in a water-based setting, lick the lens, dunk it, and make sure it's clean. As well as, again, having the right vertical mount for the job. If you're going to do this specifically for Instagram, make sure you're filming in portrait mode. And in my opinion, what is the most important thing is always ensure that when you're filming with your GoPro, it is a bright, sunny day. GoPros thrive in bright sunlight. So if it's a cloudy day, if it's nasty, yes, you can get footage and you can use it, but it is not going to be the best. So if you're in a situation where you can control when you're filming, always make sure that you're using your GoPro on a bright, sunny day. All right, that's going to wrap up this video. I hope it was helpful for you. If you want more information about GoPro tips and tricks, I actually have put together a playlist with all my GoPro photography stuff. If you enjoyed this video, I have another one for GoPro photography settings linked up here in this playlist. As well as if you enjoy this video and you want to subscribe, go ahead and subscribe. Click the bell icon. I produce GoPro videos every week to kind of help you get the most out of your little GoPro camera. So again, check out this playlist for more videos just like this one, and I will talk to you guys in the next video. Peace.